Duggan, Remax Boulder Video Podcast. We're at the end of August 2017, and we have D.V. Wilson here today, our head statistician here at Remax Boulder, to give us an update on what is going on in the market through August 2017. D.V., thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So what is happening out there in the Boulder County market?
Well, I think before we start, I would just stay up front that it's still a seller's market.
Okay.
But we're starting to see a little bit more balance to that market.
That's good news for buyers.
It is.
Right.
It is. And as you know, we always look at 10 different fields when we're looking at the statistics. And that would include the number of active listings, median sales price, average sales price to list price, days on market, the total number of sales year to date, the number of expired listings, the months of inventory. In other words, if no new properties came on the market, how much inventory would we have on the market? The percentage of the properties on the market that are under contract, and then finally interest rates.
Okay, so let's dive into single family inventory. To me, it feels like inventory is up a little bit.
Is that
true?
It is. Actually, it's up 8.5%.
Okay.
But that's still less than 1,000 properties in all of Boulder County. It's 923, as a matter of fact. And what I found interesting, we always look January through August, and we compare that with the year before. So that's 8.5% more than a year ago. But if I look 2 years down the road at the end of August, we actually have less property on the market than we did 2 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
So that was kind of surprising to me. The median sales price is up about 4.5%. And is now at $561,500 for the entire county. Okay. So that gives you some sense of it. Now, that is considerably lower than where we were a year ago, which was at 14% appreciation. So that's part of what I'm saying. We're starting to see a little bit more balance in the market.
Mellowing out just a little bit.
Exactly. Likewise, average is up just a little over 5%, and it's now $689,000 for the county. And again, that was up 14% a year ago. So that, again, is showing that it's starting to cool a little bit, which I think is very healthy long-term for the market, because we just can't sustain 14% appreciation. The other thing that's kind of interesting is sales price to list price. Now, a real balanced market, that's going to be 95 to 97. It has dropped from almost 100% a year ago down to 98.9%. Again, I think we're just starting to see this get us into the more balanced territory. Days on the market is a little less than last year. So last year at this time we were dealing with TRID, was just getting underway, and so I think that's kind of indicative that we've got TRID under control. Likewise, since we've got more properties on the market than we did a year ago, you would also expect the number of sales to increase, and that's true. We're just under 4% more sales with 2279 January through August 31st. I really like looking at the absorption rate, or the months of inventory, and for a perfectly balanced market, that's anywhere between 5 and 7 months. We're still only have 3.2 months of inventory. So again, that's showing the strength of the market, that is still on the seller's side. We have dropped slightly from a year ago on the percentage of properties under contract down to 41%. That's still pretty high. And a year ago at this time, we're at 45%.
Okay.
Interest rates have bumped up a little over 12% from a year ago, and at the end of August, it was at 3.88%. Still very, very low. Great time for a buyer to get a loan, but we're going to have to watch that because they are predicting another interest rate hike.
And so just some of the numbers you rattled off there, like the percentage under contract, I can remember back in the turn down days of 2007 and 2012, or I remember St. Vrain Ranch specifically, there was like 40 on the market and none under contract. So in today's market, still having a 30-40% category in a contract, still pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And looking at past history, you really start to see appreciation when about a quarter of them are under contract, maybe 30% under contract. So 41% is still a pretty high number.
And one of the things is we talk about these stats, again, these are all Boulder County stats, and it's important to talk with your realtor because all real estate is local, sometimes right down to the side of the street the house is on. So remember, we're talking very general Boulder County stats. That was single family, so let's chat about attached dwelling now.
Okay, we look at the same 10 different fields. We have seen a significant bump in inventory. We're at 253, which still sounds ridiculously low for all of Boulder County. But a year ago at this time, we had just over 200, so that's like 21% more. Likewise, we're seeing a lot more sales. We're up about 8% on sales.
Something to show.
Something to show, but I think that also confirms that the market's still pretty active. There's plenty of buyers out there to absorb the additional inventory. For median price, we're at $355,000 for the county, and that's up about 2.3% over a year ago. Just to really put that in perspective, a year ago at this time, we were up 29%. Okay, so I think this is really a good sign that we're back to modest appreciation.
Right, a little more reasonable in the middle of a transaction or showings. It doesn't have to be as instant as it did a while back.
Exactly. But again, I think that really should help a buyer psyche, if you will, that you're not necessarily going to be competing with 10 or 12 people.
Right.
So the average price is now just under $400,000 for a condo or townhome in Boulder County. Still seems pretty high.
Remember, we're old though,
I'll speak for yourself.
we sold those when they were originally $40,000. So yeah, it seems high.
Exactly. So that's just about 2% over a year ago, that average price. And perspective on that, last year we were up 19% in the first 8 months.
Okay.
So again, I think this is really positive for the overall market, that you just can't sustain percentages like what we had a year ago. So I think it's really good. Interestingly, we're still over 100% sale price to list price. So the average home, the average townhome or condo is still getting over asking price, and that's pretty incredible.
Right.
But again, shows the strength of the market. The months of inventory is 3.4 months, so still favoring the seller quite a bit. And 52% of that 253 are under contract, down from 61% a year ago, but 52%, over half, are under contract. That still just speaks volumes about how strong that market is.
Well, it's shaping up to be a pretty strong year. It'll be end of next month. We have the quarter report.
We will.
And we'll see how we compare that quarter compared to the first two. Any other general thoughts about the market you want to share?
Well, I think we continue not to be building enough property. It's difficult to find land, certainly affordable land in Boulder County, but we're just not going to be able to absorb all the buyers. We've got a lot of jobs being created and that kind of thing, and the inventory is just not increasing sufficiently. So I think we are going to see a strong market continue for a while. And it was interesting in the paper today, they're talking about how multifamily property, apartments specifically, building permits are outnumbering single family 3-1 in the county. And I just think that speaks volumes of that. And all those multifamily are apartments.
Right, not condos or townhomes.
Exactly, and
Right.
again, that's because of the construction defect law that's keeping insurance companies from even looking at helping a developer build a property. So I just think there's going to be continued pressure. I think that hopefully we're not going to get back up into the 25% appreciation, because that really makes it difficult for everybody.
Right, just makes it tough for the incomes to catch up with average prices.
Absolutely. So, it's a strong market. I think it's a great time for a buyer to be getting back out into the marketplace with the number of listings that we have. If they were out in the spring, we have the same number of listings that we did in the spring, but there's a much fewer buyers.
Right.
So the competition is down and you'd have more selection.
Right. DB, thanks for being with us here today. Appreciate you keeping us updated on the market.
You betcha.
Duane, Duggan, Remax of Boulder Video Podcast.